Which then brings me to the craziest one. You swallowed razor blades.
Yeah, two.
Two razor. So
It was like one broken half.
like one of those like silver,
Silver razor
the ones
blades.
they put
Like,
in a shaver, like a one of those old school shavers.
nah, it's like a razor blade for cutting shit, like from Home Depot.
Okay.
Yeah, and I put it in a Three Musketeers bar and swallowed it. And then after that, after I swallowed the razor blade, I started feeling it going down, and that's when I had cut my throat when the cops had shot me and shit.
Oh, okay.
So the swallowing
Okay.
the razor blade is the reason why I cut my throat.
Okay.
Because I
So
was like,
the
fuck.
swallowing of the razor blade, that's what led to the serious incident.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go ahead and talk about that for a second. But before we do, as you're going through these suicide attempts, are you in contact with Nick at all?
Not really.
No, not at all.
No,
No.
not really. We talked a little bit, but he didn't know the extent of what I was going through.
Okay. What about Kaylani? Were you in contact with her at all?
I talked to Kaylani once during the heat of the breakdown. I was like saying a bunch of crazy shit, like don't wear diamonds and all kinds of fucking weird shit.
How does she react?
And she was like, "What the fuck is going on with Bowers?"
Okay. So let's just talk about the main incident here. So you started to go through an episode.
Yeah.
What was drugs involved that time?
The last time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What were you on?
Blow.
Cocaine.
Yeah.
You took a bunch of coke,
Yeah.
and then you decided
Not
to.
at the time though. It was just like over that time period I was doing blow again.
Okay. So then you take a razor blade and you put it inside of a Three Musketeers bar.
And I
And
swallowed
you
it.
swallowed it, and you could feel the razor blade going down your throat.
Yeah.
What's that sensation like?
Oh, it's fucked up. It's the worst shit ever. It hurt so bad that I was like, okay, I gotta fucking end this shit a different way. I was like, this shit ain't gonna work. And then that's when I cut myself.
So,
And then
so
my
you-
dad,
Okay, so you took a knife
yeah, a pocket knife.
and then you started to cut your own throat
Yeah.
just because of the pain of the razor blade.
Yeah.
Because
And I was
it's
just trying
hard
end
to
it.
really kill yourself. Like I mean,
Yeah,
like your
it's-
body doesn't really has a self preservation instinct that doesn't allow you to really stab yourself.
Yeah, but I cut myself. It wasn't super deep. Like, there's no scar and shit.
Well, there's a scar in the middle of your neck.
That's from the trach.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I cut myself, and it was like deep enough for it to be gushing out. So it was gushing out, and then my dad, I went into my dad's room, and he was like, "Oh my God, what the fuck did you do?" Like, and he grabbed a wet rag and put the wet rag on it, and then it made it start bleeding worse because the water from the wetness.
So you were living with your father?
Yeah.
How is your dad reacting to all these episodes along the way?
He felt like it was really fucked up. He felt like he was babysitting a grown ass man and shit. Like I had to be watched all the time and shit.
Okay. So then this incident occurs. Your dad sees you, and he sees his
Yeah.
son bleeding out
Yeah.
of his neck
Yeah.
with a knife in his hands.
He didn't even know about the razor blade.
He didn't know about the razor blade, but then there was
I
a
didn't
pocket
say
knife.
anything. Yeah.
Were you still holding it?
And I gave it to him. He was like, "Give me the knife," and then I gave him the knife. But then I went and grabbed another one before the cops got there.
So you just swallowed a razor blade inside of
Yeah.
a Three Musketeers bar.
Yeah.
You've cut your throat with a pocket knife.
Yeah.
Your father witnesses some of this, and he calls 911.
Yeah, and before the cops got there, I had grabbed another knife. I didn't know that he was calling the cops, and after I cut myself, I low-key started to like get dizzy and not feel good. So I the memory is a little vague, but yeah, I had grabbed another knife, so I had another knife on me when the cops got there. So the cops get there, and my dad lets him in, and he's like, "Don't hurt him," and the cops like, "I'm not gonna hurt him." And then they get into the room. My dad comes in first, and I stand up, and I still have the knife in my hand, and the cops like, "Drop the knife," and pulls my dad out of the room and then shoots me. He shoots twice, and I got hit once in the liver,
Okay. There's obviously two sides
and
to
I
the
blacked
story.
out.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously two sides to the story, right?
Yeah,
Here you are going through a suicidal episode,
yeah,
but the cop is there seeing this crazy scene, and he's seeing a guy covered in blood and with a knife in his hands.
yeah.
So the cop is probably scared for his own life at this point.
Yeah, you could say that, but he reacted a little rash though. It just happened so fast. It happened in like 5 seconds.
So you
There wasn't even
remember,
time for.
so you remember the cop coming in and shooting you?
Kinda not really.
Kind of not really. So the cop comes in and sees this guy bleeding with a knife.
You couldn't even see the blood. I was wearing a hoodie like this,
Okay,
so it was like you couldn't see,
got it.
and it was so dark in the room that you couldn't see the blood like that.
And the cop just starts to shoot.
Yeah,
How many times did the cop shoot?
he shot twice, and I got hit once.
In the stomach.
Yeah, in the stomach.
Okay.
It went up from like here and came up into my back, through my liver.
Do you remember getting shot?
Not really.
No.
I blacked out.
It was all a blur.
Yeah, and I got shot and then blacked out, and they drugged me out by my feet into the hallway and shit. Apparently away from the knife is what they were acting like. Like he's screaming, "Don't grab the knife," as they were dragging me out. And then they were like checking my pulse and shit and lifting up my shirt, and you could see the bullet wound, and it was like gushing blood out, and it was super fucked up.
Okay. So then you wake up in the hospital.
Yeah, like a month later.
So you were in a coma for a month?
Yeah, for almost a month, a little over 3 weeks. I woke up on my birthday.
Okay. And they removed the razor blades, I assume?
Yeah,
Okay.
they removed the bullet like a week later,
Oh, because the
or
bullet was
not
still
not
in
a
you.
week later, like months later actually.
Okay.
The bullet stayed in until I was out of the hospital, so I had a bullet just in my back.
What was the first thing you thought of when you came to?
What the fuck happened? I just woke up and was like so lost. All the lights were so bright and the shit was just a trip. I don't know if Nick was there. Were you there when I woke up? Yeah, I woke up. I don't remember who was in the room, but it just was all fucked up. I had the tubes down my throat, my nose, everything, and
Oh, you actually had tubes in your throat.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had a trach in.
Oh, so they put a trach tube in your throat.
Yeah.
They had to stitch up your whole stomach?
Yeah, my whole stomach. And you want to see it?
Sure. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's still a little swollen and shit.
More than a little.
Yeah.
Still very swollen. Okay, so where did the bullet go in?
I think the bullet went in either here or here.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that shit was really gnarly. So I woke up and I still had staples in on this side. And then, yeah, that shit hurt really bad.
Okay.
Like the worst pain imaginable. Because
Yeah.
the craziest thing is after I got shot, I don't remember getting shot, but I remember waking up. I was kind of in and out in the ambulance, and then when I got to the hospital, they cut me open with no anesthesia.
Oh,
Because the
wow.
anesthesia hadn't kicked in yet. So I had to feel them cutting me. That's the last thing I remember before waking up.
Okay.
Them cutting into me.
What happened when Nick came to visit you?
This fool brought like 400 balloons. So I woke up in a room full of balloons on my birthday. And then he came and I couldn't talk yet because I still had like tubes down my throat and everything. So I had to do like thumbs ups and everything because I couldn't talk yet. I had to relearn everything. I had to relearn to walk, talk, breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really fucked up. I was scared my voice wasn't even going to come back.
Well, yeah, I mean, you went through a level of trauma that really should have killed you.
Yeah, for sure.